Hello Halo fans! Halo SPV 3.3 is available to download for free on PC right now. This new update became available on the lovely day of the 14th of February 2021, so let's take a look at some of the new features. From the main menu screen, you will notice a customization option where you can choose the look of the Master Chief and Cortana for the campaign. You may mix and match the original and modified models to whatever suits you best. I think this is a great option, as I've noticed people have various opinions on what they think the Master Chief and Cortana should look like, as this mod has evolved in parts of its art style over the years. All of the Master Chief and Cortana models are available right from the start, so you don't have to unlock them in any of the campaign levels. If you're a huge fan of the Windows Cortana, well, this mod is for you. But what I'm a big fan of is the ODST battle dress uniform for the Master Chief, especially for in-game cutscenes where there are other ODSTs with you. If you're feeling a little wacky, you can enable Craig, the friendly brute, though he is disabled from the start of the game.
I understand.
While the Pillar of Autumn was already extended in Halo SPV 3, you have to take a look at the new UNSC Marines. Their new uniforms, that is. While there is nothing wrong with the original design of the UNSC Marines in Halo Combat Evolved, it's always nice to see updates to them, as we will always have the original designs to play along with. While military members are supposed to be uniformed, this particular scenario in Halo is different. Military members are scrambling to their respective zones in the Pillar of Autumn to hold off and repel the Covenant. Some don their helmets, others do not. Depending on their role in the UNSC Marines, the armor they equip might tell you what that role is. When you rally up Marines in the campaign, or when large attacks and defensive skirmishes ensue, you'll come across these Marines wearing various equipment that escaped the Pillar of Autumn and landed on Halo, but the more decisive and smaller missions will have a more uniformed squad of ODSTs that tag along with you. You'll see that in this video soon. And another detail I noticed is that the Pillar of Autumn soundtrack is set to jazz. Okay, I can work with that. In the customization menu, you can set the time of day for the level Halo. This sunset version makes the stars more pronounced, akin to a more science fiction appeal. And more savvy Halo fans will recognize this skybox. It harkens back to the skybox used in the Halo E3 trailer from the year of 2000. To think this beautiful sunset was too far gone. Just don't get too distracted while trying to be an astronomer. If you prefer a more earthy, less defined, and hazy atmosphere, then this option is here for you to enjoy all throughout the level. The subtle visible grain in this foggy atmosphere translates well with the new lighting system, certainly a major visual improvement from the previous SPV versions. It's definitely worth trying out both settings. Now let's look at the firefight feature. What an awesome decision and execution this is, to include firefight while working off of the Halo Combat Evolved engine. I didn't think this would really be possible. Spawning AI to fight one another in a multiplayer map has been done before in Halo Combat Evolved, but this firefight mode has various waves that you eliminate. You unlock weapons and armor equipment in between those waves, and there are rounds that get increasingly more difficult the more you complete. As of now, there are two maps available, Rockslide and Engine Room. Both of these maps are cordoned off sections from the campaign that many of us are familiar with. The modification developers stated that if Firefight is well received, they will look into including additional maps to the mode. There are also different game types and game modes that you can select for Firefight. You can decide on fighting the Covenant or the Flood. Juggernaut Blitz Fiesta gets pretty wild right from the start. Skulls are added to mix up the gameplay, and you can choose how randomly and frequently they are activated. Here is Foehammer Echo 419. She is one of the heroes that can join you in the fray. If you choose Juggernaut, you'll unlock all of the heroes, equipment, and weapons at the very start. With all of the other allied forces, it gets hellacious. To me, Firefight mode in Halo Reach was a hit or miss, but this Firefight mode, much like the one in Halo 3 ODST, makes me feel like I'm on the brink of death. I just need to hold out a bit longer and then attack to clean up the stragglers. This firefight mode will make you want to utilize each weapon that Halo SPV 3 introduces to the Halo world. Even the Jackal Shield can come in handy at times. Admittedly, I never used the Jackal Shield that much in previous versions, despite how cool it is, and I'm not saying you should scramble to find one, but when you're thrown into this firefight mode with SPV 3.3's inherent challenging though fun difficulty, you'll want to use whatever you come across because each item is effective in some way. Here's another segment with the heroes in firefight mode, the Master Chief and Captain Keyes. Captain Keyes, he's wielding a golden magnum. As for your character, you are a golden Spartan, so you're not the Master Chief in firefight mode. You can revive heroes if they are downed, but they can also eventually die, though they really hold their own. Here is Spartan May. She is another hero that will help you out in firefight mode. We will get back to the firefight mode, but to deviate real quickly, Spartan May is a playable character in the Lemuria campaign that was included in Halo SPV 3.2, although in this 3.3 version, the Lemuria campaign has undergone some adjustments and engagements. The emphasis on range combat is what you will expect in this adjusted Lemuria campaign, with the tight interior combat scenarios still prevalent. Once SPV introduced the Brute Spiker in its mod, the small details of the impaled spikes to the more practical melee animation reveals the long commitment to each weapon. While I've noticed audio improvements from each mod version of SPV 3, I'm pretty happy with what I've been hearing in 3.3. Noticing the Elite Honor Guard models from Halo 2 in the Pillar Bottom's engine room from Halo Combat Evolved is really neat to see. They are not easy to defeat, especially when they are charging after you with an energy sword, so I recommend popping their shield off with a plasma weapon first, and then you can take them from there. You just want to aim for their head, it's so satisfying. Now you can't take their energy sword, but you can wield an energy sword. It is an armor pickup that is available to you, and while it is great for slicing and dicing, the energy sword also functions as a light for you to see in ominous levels such as the Maw. At the start of the level, the Maw, the energy sword will be available for you to pick up, which you will want to consider doing so because the mod creators, well, the last one out, hit the lights, and it's creepy in here. All of a sudden, Halo has turned up its horror level to about 7 more notches. And if it's not the Flood you're dealing with at the time, it's the Spec Ops Elites, or you can face them both at the same time. I don't know what is more creepy, the flood pods all over the Pillar Bottom's walls, or the soul-taking ambience. Listen to this. Well, if that doesn't chill your bones, then the level 2 betrayals will, with the massive extension to this level, and the color palette of green and blue being used to relay a cold, desolate, snowy evening. You will remember this level as the signifier of the beginning of the Covenant's desperation to control the Flood and fight off the Enforcers and Sentinels in large-scale battles. While 3.3 Guilty Spark is the first level where we see the Flood, and the Covenant doing what they can to defeat them, 2 Betrayals shows you how rapidly the Flood can consume. SPV 3.3 embellishes what Halo Combat Evolved did a good job showing, which was how much of a threat the Flood can become. The Flood pods forming in corners and Forerunner tunnels is a great addition to show that threat. The gigantic cave houses one of the new vehicles, the Sparrowhawk. It has 2 machine guns and 2 missile launchers, allowing you to fire 12 missiles all at once if you hold down the trigger, or 2 at a time with 1 quick pull. This could not have been very easy to pull off in the mod, but the Sparrowhawk is a fantastic addition as the retail version of Halo Combat Evolved is missing a flyable human vehicle that can compete with the Covenant Banshee. While the visual changes are noticeable in Halo SPV 3.3 from Halo Combat Evolved Retail, the beauty in certain locations hasn't been diminished. Although it's important to note that Halo SPV 3.3 is not a remaster of Halo Combat Evolved. It's a reimagining, an adaptation. SPV 3.3 is including aspects that we may have seen in other Halo games, and somehow, in some way, is able to execute it off of a very, very old game engine.
Who's the man? See that? Next time you guys can help.
The level Truth and Reconciliation has you infiltrate with a squad of ODSTs. The new addition, other than the improved ambient occlusion forming from the improved lighting techniques, is the ability to select a loadout with firearms from the Lemuria campaign. That being the suppressed DMR and suppressed automag.
That should let us keep the element of surprise.
Nice shot. Follow me.
This is what I mean by smaller, decisive engagements involving uniformed ODSTs. There are different color schemes for each ODST, but they come equipped, concealed with armor from head to toe. As opposed to the larger battles involving Unicy Marines in Halo SPV 3.3, who fought and escaped the Pillar of Autumn in a hurry. What if they weren't able to grab all of their armor and extra gear? You'll notice a brute chieftain in the Truth and Reconciliation that you'll have to dispatch, along with various ranked brutes and elites, all fighting together to stomp out humanity on their stomping grounds. We all know the Covenant love the color purple, and it doesn't look like the interior of Truth and Reconciliation has been tampered with, although the inclusion of SPV 3's weapons and brutes make this a place where you might just have to show your face again. The Silent Cartographer Evolved is a much larger level than the original, from larger battlefields to interior sections. In SPV 3.3, you can change the time of day from midday, what it was before, to dawn. The dawn setting will have a warmer color palette, and makes me think that after a long, tough fight on the Truth and Reconciliation the night before, Master Chief brewed some coffee and made his way to the beach to do some slaughtering. The original level, the Silent Cartographer in Halo SPV 3.3, has expanded, though it is still a smaller engagement than the Silent Cartographer Evolved version. The invasion of the more original Silent Cartographer takes place at dusk, and you are with a squad of ODSTs. However, this Silent Cartographer Evolved level will really grab your attention with its environment, like it did with mine. The new Forerunner interiors truly feel like you're looking at an ancient structure that was last activated centuries ago, and the different trees with a variety of leaves growing out from and along a swamp reminds me of the natural environment seen in Halo 2's multiplayer map Desolation and Halo 3's campaign level Sierra 117. There are moments where the in-game cutscenes take advantage of different camera angles and shows off just how large the environment is. This level will take you a considerable amount of time to complete, especially if you look for the intel reports scattered throughout the level. Therefore, this is a great way to get lost in the Halo world again. Get the popcorn ready and take it all in. Or play a level that has you hanging on to the edge of your seat from the intensity of the flood eating your fellow Marines. The level None Left Behind. Yeah, good luck if you think none will be left behind. This level has you reach Alpha Base where Marines are held up, and you all make a desperate escape to a Pelican. You'll likely witness the new real-time infection animations on this level.
Right on.
3.3 Guilty Spark is the level where you'll notice the most ray tracing that has been implemented in Halo SPV 3.3 due to the use of water effects. I like this outdoor environment more than the original Halo Combat Evolved. It's eerie. The rain really punctuates Halo's controlled environment system, making the player feel like the ring is really the one in control. Just when you thought your chance to become a dominant force was washed away in the swamp of 343 Guilty Spark, well, I'm here to tell you your luck is holding out, because in the mission The Library, you'll spot more Covenant forces engaging the Flood, but with the AI improvements that have been included throughout the entire mod of Halo SPV 3.3, you'll find your enemies behave in a more manageable way. Not every single Flood form will charge after you. Some will keep their distance and shoot at you instead. The elite honor guards sure don't make things easier as they charge after you, but sometimes the Flood will consume their buddy, which can derail the elite's attention towards the Flood. As you continue running for your life through the sickly green halls and orange halls as you ascend further up, you will find a vehicle you can use to dispose of the Parasite and the diluted Covenant. That vehicle is a Wraith. If you're not a fan of the Covenant Wraith, then this level will change your perception of it, at least for the small part of this level that you get to use it for. From being able to use the 2 plasma turrets and its main cannon, you will wish this Wraith was included in the retail version. I believe this to be a great method to make the library level feel more enjoyable and replayable. The lighting adjustments of this colossal structure make the library more interesting to look at as well. The last level I want to take a look at is the Commander. The new lighting system makes this environment bright enough to see what is going on around you, and the distant lighting from the sun is absolutely gorgeous. It is a huge improvement. There is so much to this mod Halo SPV 3.3. If you have Halo the Master Chief Collection on PC with Halo Combat Evolved installed, then you do not have to download the Gearbox port of Halo Combat Evolved. You can simply install Halo SPV 3.3 by following the instructions in the link found in the description of this video. This is Wiggly Ghibli. Thank you for watching. I know you will enjoy this mod. You'll hear from me again soon.